It was an emergency C-section, and we ended up having him stay in the nursery that night. About 5 o'clock in the morning, I remember asking them to bring Zach to me. About 45 minutes to an hour passed, and they still had not brought him in, and I was beginning to get a little nervous at that point. Finally, when they brought him in, the nurse had told me that basically they were going to fly him over here to Morgantown, that he had a heart murmur. I can remember vividly the helicopter taking off. I held on to that little bit of, well, it might just be a heart murmur, but then hours later when I got the phone call that, that he was scheduled for open heart surgery the following day was, it was hard. It was really hard.
He had a stunted valve, and it would be beneficial to go ahead and remove the stunted valve because it's doing more harm than good, get it out of the way, and that involved the open heart surgery.
It was really hard because I was still at the hospital in Cumberland, and he was here, and I felt very helpless. Most people did not realize that Zach even had a heart condition. When they saw him on the field or out running track, they had no idea that anything was different.
Whenever I tell people, they say, so why do you do track and soccer, the only sports that require you to run the whole time? And it's what I do.
But every year we would come back to the doctor and they would monitor how he was doing and take measurements. And so we knew eventually that there was another surgery at least planned ahead.
They gave us a window based on the size of that opening, like, okay, now is the time. So he came up here, prepped him. We thought that was going to be the day of the new valve.
He had a ridge in there that I thought maybe we'd be able to land one of the old valves on. And when we put the balloon up, that's our way of testing whether it's going to hold or not. That balloon was jumping all over the place. And so at that point, the safest answer is to not do that.
When he sat us down in that little conference room to say, look, we went in, but we pulled that valve out, and we're gonna try this. Like, there was never hesitation in his voice to, well, do I wanna tell these guys this? How are they gonna take this? Or it wasn't like a down, depressed, hey, I'm real sorry. It's just like, here's what we're gonna do.
It was reassuring then to know next surgery, I'm going to have exact same doctors. Kind of weird to say I was glad it happened that way, because I knew the second time going back in, I knew what to expect.
This valve, the Harmony valve that he has placed, we've been working with the company that makes it in order to try and create something that we thought would work better for this population of patients. You take something that was a problem, and an hour and a half later, you fixed it, and it's done. And hopefully lasts him for a very long time. I think allowing someone to live their life is sort of the point of everything we're doing.
I feel very confident and very comfortable now. I mean, I trust what Dr. Verhoeven's is saying to us, that, it will last for so many years and we'll recognize when comes the time that we need to do something new.
We talk about all the little details of it, but ultimately we're here to allow people who had meaningful problems with their heart when they were little to have as normal and as fulfilling a life as they could possibly do. And everything we do is towards that ultimate goal.
I can practice now without having being gassed in the first 10 minutes.
As a freshman qualifying to go to nationals and breaking a lot of the school records already as a freshman, he's just a sophomore now.
I qualify for the 100 and long jump down in North Carolina to run nationally.
He was just flying around the track and I'm looking at him thinking, this kid has been through so much and it amazes me.
They're great doctors, and I couldn't want a better one than what I have. And anyone who gets them can trust that they're gonna get the best.
We are doing everything that anybody else does. To the point where I was in a meeting and some of the things I was talking about with people at very large, very famous centers were talking and asking me how we do certain things.
Zach wouldn't be doing what he's doing if it wasn't for WVU. And you have to not just look at the valve, but the talent that Dr. V has, the confidence he has, the training he's gone through, his bedside manner.
When people didn't have options before, when you are able to bring those options to them, it's a really rewarding feeling from a personal standpoint.